start to put tension on my string drawback, I was like, okay, I'm gonna smoke.
It's him. You can look at the horns when he's dead. I'm in the zone. Let the arrow go is perfect.
So when they lose their front shoulders, that's how you know they're smoking.
Went about 5-10 more yards. We probably went 20 yards a little tip, then we would try to get back up. And I saw him pull up.
We rushed 40 years rods that night. We got like 156 and something like that, and then the next day we came out to 163 even.
You're listening to the White Cat Outdoors podcast, bringing you to the table where we talk about the outdoors.
What's up, everybody? Tom, why are you giving me the finger?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it's episode 117, and no is the answer to your question. I am not going out for St. Patrick's Day, Tom.
He'll be out.
I'm not going to be there.
How you're supposed to? Wasn't St. Patrick the one that chased the snakes out of town?
Yeah,
maybe.
So how are you supposed to chase the snakes if you're not going out?
I guess I don't have to chase snakes. I'll do it I'll do it in July.
Do you know why you wear green on St. Patrick's Day?
Mm-mm.
Do you?
Do you know why?
No, not really.
Oh. Well, what a letdown. I was really hoping for
well,
some knowledge.
I did see somebody said that you wear it so you don't get pinched by the leprechaun. So obviously that's not a valid reason to wear green.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's a Irish holiday and their flag is green, white, and orange.
So what about the white and the orange?
You see a lot of white and orange on St. Patrick's Day.
You do see a lot of
creamsicles.
Yeah. Mostly green, though.
Green and orange are probably the big two.
Yeah, that is true. Very much true.
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a green beer and an Irish car bomb.
And okay, along with St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day's in spring, and you guys know what else is in spring?
Gobbler hunting.
Gobblers.
Spring gobbler. So I think that's what we're going to get into tonight.
Before we do, Tom.
You have some housekeeping or something?
Yeah. We have another shed on the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old piss shed.
What, okay, tell me the story how you found it, because we were arguing about it before the podcast. What happened? Why is it called the piss shed?
Yeah.
Because I was at work, and for those of you that
you
don't
work in
know,
an office.
Yes, I have an office.
That's what makes this so great.
So I'm at my computer, and I have to stand up and go relieve myself. So go to the bathroom, and I'm inside. Okay. Yeah, and I'm taking a piss, and there's a window that's eye level that looks like out to our yard.
In front of the office.
And there's our yard where our building is, and there's a hedgerow, and then there's a trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing there, taking a piss, looking out the window towards that hedgerow, and I'm like, son of a bitch, that looks like a shed. So,
but your eyes have deceived you many times on what looks like a shed. So
yeah. So I get done going to the bathroom, go back into the office, talk to my boss, who's also my dad. I'm like, pretty sure there's a shed out there.
Mind if I take a quick 15 and go check this out?
He's like, well, you better go find out what it is. So I scurry out the front door, walk out into the yard, and lo and behold, there's a buck shed
there.
Yeah. So that was number one on the board. So you guys
that
are
on the board.
Yeah,
well,
you put
number one for me.
You put all the miles on, that's worthless.
Yeah.
Miles for piles.
Get an office job, sit at a computer, you'll find them.
Yep, look out the window and you're taking a leak.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere.
That's kind of like, people say you're not going to kill a deer sitting on a couch, or you're not going to find sheds sitting in an office, but that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Anyone that ever told you that?
There's a liar. So
that's a great name for it.
Yeah,
the old piss shed. Are you going to do something special with it?
No, Hank's been chewing on it.
Oh.
Yeah, Hank, that's about all the chew toys he's got right now are just antlers from this year.
Nice.
Tell you what, people really enjoy stepping on him because he leaves them all over the house.
That's the best.
But, it's kind of funny because we'll bury the shed, like under blankets or pillows or just hide it pretty much for him. Mm-hmm. And he just does his own little shed hunts throughout the house because it doesn't matter where you put it, he's going to pop out with it. It's pretty funny.
That's nice.
Doesn't take him too long either.
No.
Nice.
So meat and potatoes.
Yes, I was going to say, let's get right into the spring. Now that we talked the piss shed, we'll talk some turkeys.
All right, so Nick, he's probably the most decorated turkey hunter of us all, so I think we should let him lead us through this episode and
oh geez,
we'll chime in with our 2 cents.
Well, I'll be honest. Turkey hunting it runs very close to my love for archery deer hunting. Something about spring. I think it's because I got my first kill during spring turkey with my dad, and I think that's kind of what hooked me. I hunted for years deer, hunted deer for years before ever getting one. But turkey, for whatever reason, actually I know what the reason is. I had really good callers helping me out in the beginning.
That does help.
So my dad and my grandfather both are very talented turkey callers. So sitting in their lap at 10 years old made turkey hunting very easy for my part. Mm-hmm. And being a young kid with not a ton of patience,
it helps to have something to keep your attention. It helps
to kill shit. So it makes the whole reason you're out there just that much easier. Mm-hmm. So it
helps get you hooked more than anything.
Oh, and that's what it did. I'm hooked on turkey hunting. I live for turkey hunting. There's just something about shooting turkeys in the face that just drives me nuts.
Great time.
To the point where I don't even discriminate. I've been there, done that when it comes to killing longbeards, and I don't care about it.
Feels the same as a jake.
Yeah, it literally feels the same as a jake.
Say it once, say it 100 times.
Yeah, I have been on record many times saying I don't discriminate. I will shoot a jake. I just don't care.
What does old Rut Daniel say? Jake in the hand's better than Tom in the bush.
Yep, that's a fact.
Does he say that?
It was a caption on one of his Instagram videos.
It must have been, because if he didn't, that was going to be our saying. But
no, that's where I got it from.
Yeah.
But it's a great saying.
Yeah, I should get that a tattoo.
That's maybe a bumper sticker. Start off with a bumper sticker.
No, you always start with a tattoo. Start with permanent.
Yeah, then work our way back.
Yes. But start at the end.
We're approaching mid-March, or actually in mid-March here.
We're post mid-March.
March is flying by.
Today's the 16th. Son of a gun.
Yeah, it's flying.
So I usually wait until, for PA in New York anyway, I wait till early April to really, that first weekend in April to really start paying attention to turkeys. And it's kind of, usually that first weekend in April, Tom and I will kind of start surveying the properties we're planning to hunt. For us, it's kind of inconsistent the past few years on if there's going to be birds where we've hunted in the past. It seems to be coming up on the rise, but there's places Tom and I used to just slaughter turkeys that are just dead right now.
Except for our honey hole.
Yeah, we have one honey hole, but we're still going to survey it. So first weekend of April, you got to go out. Any spots that you're thinking about hunting, you need to figure out if there's turkeys there. And it's super simple. It's not nearly as hard as it is for scouting for deer. All you got to do is either early morning or in the evening. I prefer early morning.
That late evening bullshit, I piss on it, to be honest with you.
We've tried putting birds to bed for years, and it has never once helped me kill that turkey. At least for me.
If you're doing it in the early, before the season.
I've done it mid-season. Doesn't do shit.
No, what I'm saying is you're not trying, in the preseason, you're not trying to kill that turkey. You're not putting it to bed to set up on it. You're putting it to bed to say, okay, I know there are.
Yeah, but I would argue that the turkeys are more vocal in the morning than when they fly.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with gobbling. They do quite a bit of clucking and soft calling in the evenings.
But you may not hear that from 300 yards away.
Exactly. You'd have to be literally right in there with them to hear those little soft clucks. And you're mostly listening for wings going up in the trees.
Yeah. So what Tom and I will do is, we'll go up to these areas on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and you just get out there early morning. We don't do any calling whatsoever. We don't want to pressure, and we don't want to be anywhere really even close to where we think the birds are going to be.
You don't want to start educating them before the season.
Yeah, not at all. So Tom and I will we'll sit 200 yards away easy and just sit quietly and just listen from the distance. That's all we do. And gobblers are very good at letting you know if they're in the area because they're going to gobble. So that's our strategy early, preseason scouting.
That, and if where we're hunting has a field, a lot of the times we'll sit on that field till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning and figure out where they come out. And
that's a good point.
What time they're coming out. And some of our properties, the turkey there are very patternable. They do the same thing, not day after day, year after year. So we have this one property that we hunt where me and Nick doubled down 2 days in a row last year. where we know pretty much the turkeys are going to come out into the field about 8 o'clock by this tree almost every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, we know where they're going instead, which you always have to play that game.
But even though we've seen them do this for 6 years now,
Yeah.
it's still a good idea to go up there and just make sure.
Just to double check.
That's what they're still doing.
Well, and who knows what the hatch was. We still want to survey to make sure.
Oh,
that
yeah, and it's good to get inventory on how many gobblers you have and what quality of gobblers. Like you said, like Nick said, he doesn't discriminate.
If there's a gobbler,
I haven't discriminated in the past, but I think I'm going to start. Like
I said, once you get a few beards over 9, I at least for me, it felt exactly the same.
Still a good time.
Yeah, and I'm a sucker for doubling down. It doesn't have to be big at all. That was my second and third double. I got one with my buddy Joe up at camp one time, and there's something special about killing 2 turkeys at once with your buddy or brother. But yeah, so that was a good point to bring up, Tommy. It was like staying long enough to figure out what they do.
Mm-hmm. And on to what you said, it's good to go back and double check, especially like if something happens to your property, like you guys are about to log up there. So that could change a little bit how things, even though it's not really like exactly.
They might just come out in a different area.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you have something like that happen on a piece of property that year after year after year, you've seen these turkeys do the same thing all the time, you cut a bunch of trees down, that might alter them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And turkeys, I don't know, they're so stupid, yet they're so smart. Like they're
so stupid it makes it hard to hunt them, I think is what it is.
Well, they're good at one thing, and that's survival.
Yeah, but they're so stupid.
Like a tree could fall, and a turkey has every capability to either fly over that tree or walk around it.
That's what I mean. They're so stupid it makes it difficult because something like...
But for some reason you can't call them across it. Mm-hmm. And if, a tree falls across their normal route up to the field...
It's going to change.
It could change because they, for whatever reason, don't want to just fly over the tree or walk around it. It could make them come out 30 yards down this way. Mm-hmm. So it's always good just to get a good feel for them, see what they got going on.
Another big thing that seeing what they do in the morning silently before the season, it builds a lot of confidence and allows you not to call nearly as much. One thing over the years of turkey hunting, I'd noticed that my success has gone up with the less I call.
And if you talk to like anybody that's turkey hunted for a long time, they will tell you that there was a time when they were like, wow, I really overcalled a lot.
And I'm at the point where I know I used to. Mm-hmm. And Tom and I have both seen how much better you do with less calling. Mm-hmm. But doing those little things like sitting in the field 200 yards away just to see the exact tree that they come out on. Mm-hmm. Now you know that that's the natural path that they're going to take.
Yeah, you're not coaxing them to that spot.
We didn't call a single time all weekend and killed 4 turkeys in a weekend and never called. Like that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've brought it up on here before, but the natural way turkeys engage, like during the turkey rut, if you will, the
mating season.
Yeah, the mating season.
It's the turkey rut.
It's the turkey rut. The hen is supposed to go to the gobbler.
Yeah.
In nature, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Not the way we do it.
Yeah, so when you go out there calling a ton, you're trying to make the turkey do something unnatural. Mm-hmm. And that's why jakes are so much easier to call in because...
They don't know yet.
They don't know that's how it works yet. So,
which I want to bounce off of that real quick. I think we brushed upon this in a earlier podcast, but calling on the roost. I used to do it. I used to love it.
It's a great time.
It's a great time because birds hammer back.
They love talking when they're up in the tree.
Yeah, you can make anything that sounds remotely like a hen, and they gobble your head off.
It's kind of like texting about what you're going to do with somebody, and then when you actually meet them in person, it doesn't actually.
It doesn't quite pan out.
In the tree, they're texting.
Like, oh yeah, I'll be right there.
They're texting in the tree, but when they hit the ground, it's like something came up.
A little more vanilla.
Because what happens is when a gobbler starts communicating with a hen on the roost, the natural thing is that gobbler stays in the roost until that hen flies down and comes under his tree. Then he pitches down and pairs with that hen. So all you're doing when you're calling to a gobbler on the roost is saying, "You stay there. I'm coming to your tree.
I'll be there in just a minute."
And then you never show up. So then he flies down and doesn't say another word.
And most of the time, there's another hen that he'll go to.
Yeah.
It's a good way to piss off a hen, calling in the roost. I've
Yeah.
heard that before. I had one time, Tom and I called one time,
Yeah, I did like 2 clucks and a yelp.
and this hen went nonstop for 20 minutes before. Like it was.
That's
insane.
really cool.
We were laughing. Like, she would not shut up. I mean, just cackling and yelping, just pissed.
That's funny.
So yeah, that basically what that whole rant was about there is don't call so much. Don't call in the roost. Tom and I don't call until we know that they're on the ground.
Because they vocalize when they're in the tree. So
Yeah.
you don't have to make them vocalize.
No, they'll do it naturally. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to hear a fly down cackle. Or if you're close enough, you can hear the wings.
Or
So
there's just such a sound difference because when they're
That's
up in a
true.
tree,
Yeah, it
gobbling at
resonates
300
different.
yards, it sounds like they're right on top of you. And then they
Yeah,
fly
that's a
down,
good
and now
point.
they're at 300 yards, but ground level.
Sounds like they got 100 yards further away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sit tight. You know, if you did your homework from the, earlier in the weeks, you know where they're supposed to be at. And another thing, Tom and I, that has got us in trouble with doing the whole night before, putting them to bed kind of thing, you get too close. And that's our own fault, obviously. You could back off. But Tom and I have had birds. We put them to bed the night before, climb in there super early, and literally had the birds fly over our head and pitch down right behind us, like couldn't do anything about it. Now, those were Jake's, so Tom didn't even want to shoot them anyways. But the point was, we just got way too close.
But yeah, and the thing with that getting in too close, it kind of screwed up our hunt. We didn't spook the birds, but I mean, if you're going in for a roost hunt, like okay,
It's now or never. Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna try and shoot them as soon as they hit the ground. Mm-hmm. You got to do it early, and if you do it early, you're gonna be fine. If you get in there an hour and a half before sunrise, when it's absolutely pitch black.
No lights. Don't.
Yeah, absolutely no lights. Turkeys, they hear shit walking on the forest floor all the time. Whether it's a raccoon, a deer, possum, you name it. It's nothing to startle them about. But if you get in there, a half hour before sunrise when it's starting to get light, and
you can see them
have a light.
Yeah. If you can see them in a tree, they can see you. That's basically how I dictate if I'm in there early enough. If you look up in the sky and you can see silhouette up there, it's too late and you're screwing up.
Yeah, so if you're planning, okay, we know where these birds are roosting, we know where they're pitching down, we want to shoot them right when they fly down, you got to get in there early.
You'd also have to kind of play the moon and the cloud cover, because if you have a perfectly clear night with a full moon, it's bright enough to see all night.
Oh, yeah.
So if you try to get in there, it doesn't matter how early you get in, it's still bright enough to see. Yeah. For them anyway, you'll struggle to see, but
I've noticed with cloud cover and rain, cold temperatures, warm temperatures, it affects the turkey gobbling a lot. Mm-hmm. My favorite time to hear birds gobble is like cool, crisp, clear mornings. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I don't know why they don't seem to gobble as much if it's like super thick, hot, and muggy, or if it's like overcast and raining.
I think.
But a nice, like, clear, no wind, 40-degree morning, little frosty, little crunch walking in. Mm-hmm. Oh, get out of town.
The weather is a big factor in even how you decide you're going to hunt turkeys each day. Mm-hmm. Rain makes it.
I was going to say, I love turkey hunting in the rain because you know where they're going to be.
Exactly. For whatever reason, I know it. I know the
reason. Yeah, you keep saying that.
I'm going to keep saying it and then tell you the reason. So it sounds cool for whatever reason, and I actually have that reason. Turkeys, they go to the fields when it rains because they trying to like dry their feathers off essentially. I know the reason. I'm telling.
Yeah, he knows the reason. For whatever reason, Nick knows the reasons.
Yeah. The other reason being the rain can be really loud in the woods, and turkeys only have their sight and their hearing to go off of. Their noses, beaks don't produce much for scent. So if they can't hear anything in the woods, you've taken one of their senses away. So they prefer to get to a field where they can at least see
as far as possible.
Yeah. So seeing and to dry themselves off. So if you're hunting in the rain, don't let rain deter you from turkey hunting. Just make sure you're sitting on a field edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, set up properly.
And don't bother calling because they don't like to talk in the rain.
Mm-hmm. And the rain will muffle your calls anyway. It's not like it'll be overly effective.
Exactly.
I mean, they can hear just fine, but still, it's...
Decoys and sit tight.
Well, I tell you what, I wasn't a huge fan of decoys, and I'm not going to be that guy that says, oh, you got to go out and get this brand. But Nick got the flock of these decoys, and I tell you what, I've never been so hooked on decoys. But last year...
Decoys are a fun way to hunt.
Oh,
they
my
are.
God. I was never big into it. I always kept like one hen in my backpack, you know.
Now we look like we're going duck hunting. When we go turkey hunting now.
We put a whole freaking flock
spread.
out there.
Yeah, like I said, Tom said, you know, we're not telling you got to go buy AVNX. That's what we use. You know, we're not sponsored. You're not going to help us any. But AVNX makes some seriously high quality calls.
And what's that website you
Camo
like?
Fire.
Yeah. Oh, get out of town.
Camo Fire is like a website where companies can kind of like offload old stock, I think is what it is.
Okay.
So
is it like discounted?
Yeah, it's all discounted.
Okay.
Yeah, we could not afford a flock of AVNX decoys at full price.
No, exactly. I mean, there's deals 40, 50, 75% off on that. Like,
damn.
What's cool about it though is every 24 hours it refreshes new stuff. So you just got to kind of watch each day and check it out. But yeah, I found the one day I was on there and they had AVNX decoys, and I bought 2 or 3
What
hens.
is this website?
Camo Fire.
Camo Fire.
But I bought a bunch of decoys. So I think I got 6 of them. You know, they're still. I mean, they're
still
more
expensive.
Yeah, but
I've never seen birds react the way they did to these ones.
I took a picture of them all out in a spread in my yard. It is insane how realistic these birds are. And I went with the collapsible decoys,
which they're really not that collapsible.
They're not. Yeah, I don't know where because
they should change the name.
Yeah, they're not collapsible. They come in bags, and the bag is
the size of a turkey.
The size of a turkey. So basically, Tom and I literally carried 6 turkeys.
Tom and I.
Oh, okay. I was
the really good trick is get pancreatitis like 2 days before turkey season, and then go with a buddy and make him carry all the.
Like, I know I can't carry that stuff.
Doctor's orders. I can shoot these turkey loads, but can't carry those.
Yeah,
I think you carried your shotgun.
I carried my chair too.
Yeah, I carried 6 decoys, the blind, my chair, my shotgun.
You did a great job too.
Camera set up.
No, I carried my camera set up because it was in my backpack.
No. Yeah.
See, you try and take all the credit. I was dying.
I was dying, he says.
But anyway, so I remember the big thing that the decoys did for us there is I remember.
Well, that was kind of like a misty. It wasn't like raining, but it was like a misty.
It was raining, misty. Yeah,
windy.
You could hear the rain hitting the blind. But anyways, I was setting up the blind. I was setting up the decoys. Tom was setting up the blind. Because the blind was a little bit more heavy lifting, pulling and stuff, and I really was supposed to be taking it easy. So I'm setting up the decoys, but Tom couldn't figure out this. It's a behemoth of a blind.
Isn't it called the Big Boy or something?
No, Big Baller blinds or Go Big. I called them Big Baller blinds. But that's not actually. There's a reason for that. No, I'm just kidding. No, it says like inside the hut. It says Go Big.
Go balls deep.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, you can comfortably put 3 guys in there. I mean, like with like the rocker chairs.
So it's like a freaking Cabela's tent. Like
it's huge.
Yeah, I was telling Nick this year for opening day of Gobbler, we're gonna bring like a little card table. I'm gonna get like a dozen donuts, bring a thermos of coffee.
And there's room for it.
Oh yeah, easy.
Bring a little single burner stove.
Yeah, we're just gonna play cards and wait till the turkeys to come out, and then we'll turn around, shoot them through the screen, and good to go.
Pick them up when you're done with lunch.
Anyways, so I'm setting up the decoys. Tom's messing with the blind. He can't get it, so he comes out to me and says, hey, can you set up the blind, and I'll finish these decoys. And I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. So he's messing with the decoys and turns around as I'm finishing up the blind, and it is this behemoth on the edge of and we're like probably 15 yards off this, or probably 15 feet off the wood line. Mm-hmm. So it's just this massive boulder on the edge of the field. And
looks like a round bale.
Yeah, Tom's like, this looks ridiculous. And we put the decoys inside 20 yards. I mean, we put them right in our lap because why not?
We were new to this style of hunting.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, we've never hunted like that.
No.
So we had all set up, and this is the first morning. Second morning, we didn't use the blind, but the first morning we're set up, and no calling on the roost. We had like 2 hens come in.
Well, no, we're sitting in the blind, and this is actually I think a key part of the story. It was just as the sun's starting to come up, and like you're like, okay, we should start hearing some gobbles. Our gobbler strut decoy tips over, and it's at like a 45-degree angle.
Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah,
and I'm like, boy, that is gonna piss me right off. I can't look at that all morning.
And it's one of those things where it's prime time where like if turkey
you can't get up and start running around.
Well, you can.
You shouldn't.
It's one of those. We had to make a very fast decision. Do we fix this now? Like we can't sit on this.
You can't talk about it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, do we fix this now or do we just leave it? And we opted to fix it.
Yeah. So I go out there because I mean I couldn't look at this 45-degree angle gobbler all morning, and so I go out there, stake it in the ground a little extra further, put the gobbler back on top so it's nice and straight, get back into the blind. In the way the wind was blowing, it made the gobbler like rotate.
Turn.
Yeah, like 180 degrees back and forth. So like when you see
all
a gobbler
doing that.
in the field strutting and doing his strut circles, that's what this decoy was doing.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
So it was dirty.
Turkeys are dying today.
Yeah, so we didn't hear any gobbling. We had 2 hens come through. Obviously, let those walk. And then we
Got
had
some good footage of them, though.
Yeah, and then we had 2 jakes come through, and man, did I want to shoot them. But we had more birds gobbling back in the woods. Couldn't see them. Tom talked me out of it. I was pretty pissed.
Thought he was a real idiot at the time.
And what's crazy about this blind, we have a screen up in front that you just shoot right through. And Tom and I were talking slightly above a whisper, like almost normal conversation.
Audible.
Yeah.
Very audible.
And we're moving. Like, I mean,
Not wearing like
we
I
were
had
pretending
a black...
like the turkeys were on a TV because like we were not paying, like we were not being mindful whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make a difference because like we're literally like arguing back. I'm like, Tom, come on, can we just shoot these turkeys?
Shoot the fucking
There's
thing.
2 turkeys right in front. Let's just shoot them, and they had no idea. But finally, they get out of range, and I'm like still trying to convince Tom because they're almost to a point where like, Tom, if we don't do it now, we can't.
It's over.
And like just about that time, all of a sudden we heard like a shit ton of gobbles all at once, and we look over, and it's just like velociraptors just sprinting across the field at our decoys. I mean, just like run, like took total, all of their attention is off the massive boulder right behind them. They just see this oscillating gobbler back and forth.
Is the decoy designed to do that, or did it just so happen to do it?
I don't think it's designed to do that, but it has the capability to do it because basically it's the gobbler, and then there's a big hole that goes up like through the stomach.
It's just like a point.
And you just set it on a stake.
So it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can rotate, but
it's I don't know.
But you would need wind to push it.
Mm-hmm.
I think our buddy Scott Thompson, he was telling us he takes like what are those? Shepherd's hook.
Yeah,
and
just
ties
puts a
his
string
decoy
on it. Yeah.
to that.
And it works really well.
Yeah, that way you don't really even need any wind, and it'll spin.
Yeah.
I forgot he said that.
Yeah,
so that's something to try.
We're probably going to do that this year.
Yeah,
shepherd's hook. But anyway, yeah, they come running down, and now that we have seen the other birds that were gobbling, there were still actually 2, or at least 2, down in the woods, which we shot later. But at the time, there was enough gobblers running across the field that Tom and I decided
it's happening.
I don't know. I think
whether they're jakes or not, we're letting
Tom
it fly.
said right in the video, they're all jakes.
You can hear him too. He says they're all jakes.
But I think the excitement of like them all gobbling at once, running across the field, I think just amped us both up.
Yeah,
because
you wanted to shoot the first 2 jakes,
but there wasn't even conversation about like
whether
are we going to do this or not. It was just okay on 3, kind of like it was like we just both knew
it was happening.
We're gonna shoot something right now. So, long story short story long.
I was gonna say that was a pretty long story to be pretty short.
Yeah, that was a rainy day gobbler that we didn't do any calling, and because of this all circles back, we knew where the birds would likely come out, and it just worked perfectly.
Yeah.
So preparation early in the year or early, like before the season, is what killed those birds.
Yeah.
And I would say probably 90% of the turkeys I've killed was based on preparation before the season. I have most of my luck within the first week of the season because they're not nearly
Still
as educated.
on a normal pattern.
Yep.
People haven't hunted them like crazy yet.
You start educating birds and they change up real fast. You know, I say 90%.
Yeah, they do adapt. They're dumb, but they do adapt quickly.
Yeah. But that's the big thing for me with turkeys is preparing ahead of time. There's nothing like heading into a new piece, but preparing, if you really want to kill a bird, spend a morning before season to go out there and just try and find them first, because you save a ton of time. Because I personally think every day into the season, it gets a little bit harder to get it done.
Yeah, especially around here, because like
such high pressure.
Yeah, like out west, there's not near as much turkey pressure as there is here. But like you said, every day you get into the season, those birds get harder and harder and harder to call.
So, yeah, you just got to get on them and don't be the one to educate them. Don't do too much calling. You don't have to be a great caller because all turkeys sound different. Some of them, you would
They
swear,
say it's more your cadence rather than the actual sound.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I've heard turkeys like a hen that sounds exactly like a box call. Like, and then other turkeys don't sound like every turkey or hen sounds a little different. And my dad's been out west where he swore some idiot was on a box call, had no idea what he was doing. Just
Squawking away.
Yeah, just sounded awful. And
here come a turkey.
Yeah, he said, not even 10 minutes later, this old hen comes out of the bottom of this like gully and making that noise. And he was like, okay, apparently you don't have to be that great of a caller because some turkeys actually sound like that. So, like Tom said, it's more cadence.
It's like people, every person has a different voice. Every turkey will sound a little bit different.
Yep. So, I mean, that's all I really got. I mean, I can boil it right down to preparing before the season and don't call too much.
Yeah. Top 5 takeaways: prepare before the season, don't call too much. What are the others?
Look out the window when you're pissing for sheds.
Yes, look for the piss sheds.
Decoys can really help.
Field edge in the rain.
Field edge in the rain. That's 5
right there.
Nailed
we could go on. There could
Field edges are just generally a great spot to turkey hunt because if you have a property with turkeys in a field, they're gonna end up there at some point.
Yeah.
Every day, at some point they're. You
just got to find out what time. Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily for us, they roost right off the edge of the field, and usually by 8 o'clock, they're up there. But there's been some times at Grandpa's where they roost farther back in the woods, where
kill them at 10 o'clock.
They don't come out to the field at 10 o'clock, and then you got to ask yourself, well, do I want to get into this field edge at first light and sit here for 4 hours, or do I want to set up back in the woods off the roost and try and make something happen early? Which is another really fun way to hunt. That's how we did it the following day.
Yeah. One day I was up with Grandpa, and we opted to try and make something happen. Jump in the woods. And this was back when I was still wrestling with my inner self on do I discriminate against Jakes or not. This was, close to the turning point of when I decided I don't care.
So we see which demon has won.
Yeah. Yeah, this is...
He was arguing with the shoulder angel and the demon.
Yeah, this is or what do they call it? Your villain arc or whatever starts? I don't know.
I don't know what
Batman. I don't watch Batman. Anyways, so
heard the new one's pretty good.
Yeah?
Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, let me tell my turkey story. So we go into the woods and try to make something happen. Call a Jake in, and I have him right in my lap. And I had my grandpa in my ear, and that was my biggest struggle. Was my grandpa always, he's
big long beard guy.
He's always shot long beards. Wants me to shoot long beards. So I got him. I got finger on the trigger, safety off. I got him in my ear saying, hey, it's just a Jake. It's early. I think we've got a chance of going somewhere else or whatever. And I was like, fine. So we sit through this, and I let him go, and I'm all irritated, but whatever. About right after he gets out of sight, Grandpa's like, all right, well, if this didn't work out, we got to get to the field. We're going to circle back around. There was more gobblers in that group that didn't come into range. He's like, we got to get to the field before those birds do, so we can set up on them. So we go to the field, and doesn't that Jake give me another opportunity? And I told Grandpa, I said, I let him walk once.
Ain't happening twice.
Happened again. Boom, smoked him. And this was also back when I was, if it's moving, I'm shooting. Mm-hmm. And 2 turkeys in a row, I shot a second time while it was flopping in front of me. And I actually, one time with my dad, I tried to go for a third, and he was like, "Whoa, yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
Done. He is done."
But I was just afraid because I think what happened was, and you guys both remember, our cousin Corey, who's also a really good turkey hunter.
Yeah, he's very
good. When
he
first started, he had the worst luck with rolling birds. Mm-hmm. He'd shoot them, they'd drop, he'd go to walk up to them, they'd fly off and be gone forever. So I was like,
not letting that shit
that doesn't happen. I'd fill the breasts with lead every time. I was not letting them get away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember talking to my grandpa. I'm like, Grandpa, I already watched this turkey walk away once. It's his fault. He came back. So smoke him.
Should have learned his lesson the first time.
I tell you what, I was sure excited. Probably might even want a turkey pull on that one. I don't know. Our turkey pulls used to just be opening morning. That's how, I guess, to give you an idea of how we hunt and know that it gets harder throughout the season. Mm-hmm. Our turkey pull runs literally opening day. That's it. And there's always a pile of birds at the pull. That was a youth turkey. That's why I won. But yeah, I think I don't know where I was going with that story, but
it was a good story no matter what.
Yeah, Batman. Jeez, I guess Frank's ready to get out of here.
Yeah, smacking the mic around.
Get this out of my face.
Yeah. Done with this shit.
So, all right, I guess we'll leave it there. I hope you guys are ready for turkey season. If you've never turkey hunted, I hope this is the first year that you get into it, and I hope everyone kills whatever kind of gobbler gets you excited, because if it's a Jake that comes in front of me first, unless Tom's sitting next to me, it's getting shot.
Yeah, never feel bad about shooting a Jake because Nick's right there with you.
Yeah, I actually have a bumper sticker about, I can't remember what it's called or what it says. Something about like Jake breaks, but it's with turkeys, and I don't break for Jakes or something like that. I'll have to.
That's funny.
It's sitting on my dresser. I haven't thrown it on the truck yet because it's not turkey season. But anyways, make sure you guys are going out there doing your pre-scouting, which means you'd have to get outside.